Go time.
Yo,
Shotty is
what's
go
the
time.
deal? Yes, sir. We live.
Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. How y'all feeling?
Live in the flesh, man. 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Blackout. What's the deal?
Greatest show on
How you
earth. How you
feeling,
feeling? I'm feeling good, man. How you feeling? The fit. Woo. Godspeed. Send it to his P.O. box, please.
Appreciate
That shit is
Yes,
tough.
sir.
My
Appreciate it,
Lord.
man. Shout out to my Godspeed family.
Mm-hmm.
Nick and the whole unit. You know, Godspeed, that's my favorite brand right now, man. They've been cooking. They've been
For
cooking
sure.
for a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to Godspeed, man. Yes, sir. I'm about to get back on the P.O. box thing too. I did all the designers out there. I just had to sort through some boxes. I just, I got a lot of clothes, a lot of merch. But shout out to everybody, all the designers out there, man.
XL me, send it to Rashad
got
P.O.
certain-
box. Go back to the old episodes, get the P.O. box, and it's me. Got you.
We got special guests later on in the show. My boy Joey Bada. So I don't want to waste too much time.
Mm-hmm.
But tomorrow, earn your leisure. Make sure you check out. We got a really dope interview. Robert from Shark Tank. We did it in Las Vegas. Our fourth shark on Shark Tank that we've interviewed. So
That's tough.
check that out tomorrow. And man, stay tuned. We cooking up. We got a lot of things lined up. Stay tuned. Stay tuned alert
Continue to innovate at all
at all
costs.
times. For sure. And we shot some dope content that we're gonna be putting out maybe on Friday. We were in Senegal and we visited Gory Island, which is one of the slave dungeons, point of no return. A lot of people know about the one in Ghana, but this one I think was actually the one where the most slaves got shipped from because it's the closest to the Americas. So we took a tour of that and we made a vlog, like 30 minutes. And so we're gonna put the whole vlog, the whole experience. If you have not been to one of these slave dungeons before, we're gonna put the whole vlog on YouTube. It's a very educational experience. A lot of the slaves got shipped to Haiti, Jamaica, Brazil. So it's a different perspective. So yeah, if you're interested, we probably put that on YouTube on Friday.
What time?
I'm not 100% sure, but probably like midday seems like a good time to do it.
Great question. What determines the time based on algorithm? All my creators tune in. When you decide to release the content, because I know for a while you guys were doing 7 p.m. and then it went midday, it went early. How do you know based on the algorithm when to release the content?
Good question. A lot of it is trial and error, honestly. Like I feel like we have set standard times for like Blackout, Market Mondays, but a lot of the interviews or a lot of the like vlogs, it's really like a kind of like just test the water type thing. But
yeah,
I've been finding that earlier in the day has been working a little bit better, and it would make sense because people are, they're not watching primetime television. They're not eating dinner with their family. They're not, they got time on their hands. And so that's why we've been doing a lot of like midday drops recently.
Yeah.
Some people do early morning also. I think Joe Button does that.
Yeah,
like early in the morning, like 8 o'clock in the morning. So, but I think that afternoon is like when the most people watch YouTube.
That's a hell of a gem for my content creators. If you releasing at 11 p.m., may want to adjust. But I'm loving the docuseries vibes though.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Shout out to Ty. Man, he's
Icon.
He's super gifted with that, just documenting it and spicing it up. And he works very efficiently. Shout out to Ty. Shout out to Brandon. Shout out to all our videographers, man. I think we got the best videographers in the game, man. The way that they captured these moments, and it really has helped us a lot. So shout out to all of the videography team, because that's important. That's important to make sure that you're capturing the content the right way.
Yeah.
Any announcements?
Yep. Shout out to my brother Ladun, covered by God. God is the greatest. Love y'all.
Shout out to
Um,
Lazor.
Red Panda Stock Club call will be this Sunday at 5 p.m. Central. If I made you money, please put yes in chat. Let's have an amazing show. It's a lot to get to, so let's get to it.
Please, let's get to it. All right. So let's talk. Um let's talk about Trump. Let's start with Trump. Um, he just we're gonna talk about Trump probably a few times during this episode.
For
But
sure.
one time is that he's tearing down the right wing of the White House and he's building a $300 million ballroom. The ballroom is actually bigger than the actual main White House.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was originally supposed to be 200 million, 300 million. He's already put pavement over Jackie Onassis's Rose Garden. He's already taken Biden's picture off the wall. But this is the furthest that he's actually ever going.
Mm-hmm.
He's literally without any approval, any public approval or anything, tearing down, what would be the staple of America, pretty much, tearing down the White House. He's tearing down the east wing of the White House, and he's making a ballroom, and he's putting gold all over it. And
I mean, are we shocked? He was in real estate. He likes gaudy things. I'm not surprised at this at all. Are you?
no, I'm not, because once he got elected, he got they handed him a
License.
do whatever you want to do whatever you want to do in life card.
Mm-hmm.
And following that, talking about the do whatever you want to do in life card, another thing that he said that he's interested in doing allegedly is he's going to have the Justice Department pay him $230 million for investigating him previously. And the head of the whole situation was his defense attorney. And he said it. He said himself. He said, "Look, I get to sign off on it. It's kind of crazy. Like I get to sign off on giving me money."
Mm-hmm.
He's going to, if it goes through, he said he's going to give the money to charity. That's a whole different story. But he's going to give himself allegedly $230 million from the Justice Department for the trials and tribulations that he went through when they investigated him.
If you donate the money to your kid, is that charity technically? Barron about to these next 2-3 years. Maybe even when people say they give it to charity, you got to figure out what percentage. He may give 10%, but the rest, I think, will stay in the family trust, if you will. And Barron will get a bunch of that coin as well. But this is what a lot of y'all voted for. Got to deal with it. He's a great business person. Project 2025 isn't real. All that. Even Joe Rogan, they starting to try to step away from the endorsements that they gave. This is what you voted for. But quietly, America has always run like this. He's just putting it on Front Street for most Americans to see. A little bit ostentatious and audacious, but America's always been run this way. It was just usually hidden from the public. So, yep. Somebody just put it. Nothing is surprising anymore. And honestly, the remodeling and putting the ballroom, this is like one of the better things he's done out of the list of bad things that has happened since he's been in for a year. So,
how do you feel about him sending? Like I said, we could spend the whole episode talking about Trump, but how do you feel about him sending South American migrants to Africa?
We're living in a movie, like it's some science fiction type ish. But when you rule with the iron fist and no one on the other side is willing to stand up, you're gonna get a dictator. Even the meme of No King's Day, and you had the plane dropping waste on the people who are protesting. there needs to be someone or a force that stands up to him, and no one's ready to do that yet. I think if the economy tanks and favor tanks, you'll be able to find some people who don't believe in his regime and will turn against him. But for right now, when everyone's getting bags left and right, especially off crypto, no one's going to go against him right now. But I think it's crazy what he's doing, just the entire ICE situation, even detaining and arresting people who are citizens is insane. Like if Obama did this, oh my God. Every day I wake up, I'm like, if Barack did this, they would want to hang him. And no one on either side is fighting strong enough. So what do you think about it?
It's human trafficking.
That-
Like, if you want to talk about Diddy, and we could talk about Diddy potentially getting a pardon, but if you want to talk about Diddy,
While them files not
paying
being
a
released to, yep.
paying a prostitute to me that's not human trafficking, in my opinion. Sending somebody from Venezuela who came to America, who you catch in America, who you can easily send them back to Venezuela, and you decide to send them to Estonia, which is a landlocked country in South Africa, that's cruel and inhumane, and it's not necessary, and it's human trafficking. You sending them to Ghana, to Estonia, to why are you sending them to Africa? Why are the African leaders accepting this? I know why they're accepting
you
it,
know why.
but
If you want to wake
I
it
do
up.
know why.
Yeah.
I do know why, but it's human trafficking. You're trafficking somebody against their will to a continent that they've never been, that they have no similarities with anybody there.
Extreme displacement. Yep. Yep. And even some of the people in the detention centers who just are not on record. Scary times we live in. Scary times we live in. You want to wake up why the African leaders are being involved? Do you want to wait till I reveal why Tim Cook got a battle he can't? This is blackout, not crash out.
No, I mean, it was one of these things where he kind of put him in a situation where, like, they had no choice because he was going to have heavy restrictions against their country as far as visas. Like, you know, he started to say, like, people from your country can't get visas. They would have to, like, you know, they was holding back aid, stuff like that. So,
strong arm in the country.
In order for them to have more relaxed visa policies, and in order for them to have more relaxed financial aid, and, you know, to have more streamlined relationships with the United States government, he said, "Look, I'm gonna need you to take 500. I'm gonna need you to take 1,000. I'm gonna need you to take 400." And the country is called it used to be called Swaziland. It's called Estonia. Eswatini. That's a landlocked country in South Africa. So yeah, I mean, from these African standpoint, they're looking like, damn, like, you know, I don't really don't have no choice. 400 people, that's not that many people, right? But what are you going to do? What are you going to do when 300 Venezuelan migrants come to your country? And the reason why he's doing this is that he's setting an example to scare people to not come to America. Because, like I said, he could easily send them back to Venezuela, but he's like, I want to do something that's so out of the norm that people are extremely scared to come to America. So I'm gonna send them to Africa.
Are fair-skinned immigrants being treated the same way?
Fair-skinned migrants, white people? Oh, of course not.
I'm trying to make sure we don't get flagged on YouTube. Language is important.
You know, there's a lot of illegal immigrants that's in America from Europe,
especially on the East Coast. Boy, but
I've never seen ICE raid
not one
the
time.
bagel store.
Not one time.
Not once.
Well, speaking of which,
But, you know,
With that being said, given the rulership that we have in office now, does democracy actually exist?
You want to show this clip, Troy? Can we
Yes.
show the Lamont Hill clip about the democracy? Does democracy exist?
Democracy under threat because of this stuff.
Under threat? Does it exist, Mark?
Is American democracy under threat because of this stuff?
Under threat? Does it exist, Mark? I don't think it exists. It's a veneer. It's the end of the Roman Empire. You have the symbols, the iconography, and the language of a democracy, but internally, corporations and oligarchs have seized all of the levers of power. I looked at this election as a battle between corporatists and oligarchs. Corporatists, the Democrats, they want something very different from oligarchs. Corporatists want stability, they want decorum, the kind of decorum that Obama had or Bush had, or Bush was an idiot, but at least he had some, they could clean him up a little bit. And Biden, whatever his cognitive failings were, because they want stability, especially in terms of trade agreements, because they make investments overseas. It takes a while for a return on a profit. Corporatists want something different from oligarchs. Oligarchs are about chaos. They're about, as Steve Bannon said, deconstructing the administrative state. Why? Because it is a pure form of rentier capitalism. And by that I mean that they make their money by setting up toll booths, Amazon, all of these digital media platforms. It's not about producing goods. And the more that the state is deconstructed, that's why they want to abolish the Department of Education, everything that we need as a civil society becomes privatized. And you see it in, I wrote a book called America, the Farewell Tour. It begins in Scranton, Pennsylvania, where everything, the sewer system's privatized, the parking authority is privatized, the electricity is privatized, and of course they've jacked up the rates, and the services are not very good. And they want to privatize the post office, so we can have a dysfunctional post office like the UK, which is...
All right. Did that play all the way through? Because on my phone it was frozen.
It was frozen, but
so
the audio came through loud and clear, and this message was
the audio came through.
Yeah,
the audio came through.
Mm-hmm.
It says a lot about the times that we're in, because what he's talked about as far as everything being, that was actually very insightful what he said as far as the oligarchs
Mm-hmm.
versus
The
like
corporatists.
the corporatists.
Mm-hmm.
The corporatists need structure. They need things to run smoothly so they can make sure that the business is running.
Mm-hmm.
The oligarchs actually need some level of dysfunction.
You need chaos.
So they can privatize every area of it and really take chunks of government and control.
Even
so,
no, go ahead.
It's this whole thing is just a game, and everybody's a puppet. Everybody's just getting fiddled on strings, because it's not really about nobody. That's why I'm not passionate about politics, because it's not about you. Politics is not about you. It's about powerful people that's maneuvering the masses to get what they want to get out of the situation.
And a prime example of it is Larry Fink being on record that they are going to tokenize every asset in the world that matters, when 6 years ago, most of the hedge funds didn't give a damn about tokenization, crypto, or Bitcoin. And just like you can profit when there's a lot of volatility in the market, on a larger scale, chaos is created as a divisive tactic to make a lot of wealth in an evil way. There's a lot of money made in chaos, in business and real estate and stocks and companies being overturned. And a lot of this is done intentionally. If you think a lot of the events that have happened in the last 2 years are accidental, they are not. Put it in chat. There's a lot of money in chaos. So whenever you see a company or country going through unrest and unease, 2008, that financial crash was a prime example of it. Love Warren, greatest investor of all time. But even he had a deciding factor if Bear Stearns stayed alive or not. And because some people had crossed him back in the day who were now at Bear, they killed the bear while he saved America, which is a playbook out of James Pierpont Morgan's playbook from the 1929 crash. There's a lot of money in chaos, and the reason why you're seeing so much rest and unease now is because they are privatizing it and running straight to the bank. I don't want to speak on what I think is happening in crypto, but a lot is happening in real time.
And even, you know, what he said as far as they've privatized every area of the economy. And that's something that we grew up in, so we don't think of anything like that. But it's not like that in any other part of the world where, like I said, I mean, the education system is privatized. The jail system is privatized. The medical system is privatized.
Yep.
The food system is privatized. The
Road-
prescription drugs is privatized.
Yep.
The mental health
Waterways.
industry is private. Waterways privatized. Air privatized. You've privatized everything. You carved up every single aspect where the government, in other places, government is control of these things. In America, corporations, billionaires are in control of these things. So, you know, the way he kind of explained that is like, yeah, the oligarchs actually need some level of dysfunction because that makes it easier to be an oligarch.
If I install the chaos, I can then install the person who I want to rule over everyone to control the chaos. It's one of the oldest moves in politics. Create a disaster, a war, a major global issue, and then we can install our candidate to be the face of it while we profiteer off of it. It's incredible.
Somebody said, somebody said, how you privatize air? And that's a good point. You could privatize anything. Because you know what? And that's one of the reasons in Africa, as far as that it's kind of hard to travel amongst countries, is because a lot of those air rights are owned by Europe. So the airplanes can't even travel over certain air rights because Europe owns the air right. So now you got to, what should take an hour flight takes 8 hours because you got to get detoured to 4 different countries because you can't fly over that country's air rights.
Yep.
No, air rights are a big thing, even in real estate. You know what I mean? Like, as far as like when you build the real estate, part of it that you got to know about is the air rights. Because you could only go so far this way. You got to go up.
Yep.
So when you go up, owning those air rights are vitally important.
Education, health the data. They privatize what the truth is. You think every LLM is going to give you a historical fact of what has happened in history? Most of American history and Black history in America, they're forcing and fighting to erase. That's why they want to Mandela affect you to fucking death, to see what kind of psychological warfare they can get off and then feed you a lie 20 years later. So
how did you become such a great investor?
It's time in. I know I've said this before, but it's really just being curious about the world and how the world works. And I've said it before, like as a kid, I liked video games. The stock market eventually became my video game as an adult, but it's just time in. Also too, like if you study the history of business, it's more graphic than any war that you can talk about. Like how Rice Krispie was founded and the wars of Nestle, House of Guinness, I mentioned, is a great show to watch on Netflix. There are a lot of wars and a lot of bloodshed. Even when Tucker Carlson asked a certain CEO about a certain engineer and what may not happen. Business is grimy, but my short answer is just time in. Putting my full effort to learn everything that I can about all the companies that rule the world and the cycles of it. And even if you go back to Rockefeller and when his companies got broken up and those split into 29 companies, Some of those 29 companies still rule the world till this day. Pharmaceutical, education, debt institute influenced, education, farming, food supply. And I think it's the formula for anything. Like whoever has the most passion for that thing and put the most time in will win. So it's no same way. How did you get great at media? I watch you. We be on tour. Scrolling. You may watch 1,400 reels in 2 days. I'm like, man, how you going with this? And at a certain point, you just know what works and what doesn't. It's the same thing. Time in the market plus timing the market will get you to freedom. But being a great investor is just reading a lot and studying a lot. There's no way around it. 12 hours a day into it. Every day. And if you do that in any craft, same way I'll look at Mr. Beast and he'll be like, well, I know this thumbnail will work up. That's why I asked you, why do you know to upload midday now opposed to 7 p.m.? The algorithm changed. So same way where meme stocks may have worked in a time period, and y'all did the same thing with Beyond Meat this week, you have to know when cycles are going to end. So it's just time in. If you want to be great at anything, it's time in. There's no way around that.
So that Beyond Meat thing, is that something that, you know, people should, or is this unadvisable for people to kind of chase these type of?
I think the move is too late. There can be a point where a stock is so low that you're almost guaranteed a return, but you also need to know when to take profit. Like if you're in and out, I would definitely liquidate in the morning for sure. Take profit. But like the entire vegan industry and vegetarian industry that is publicly traded, shambles. It's a good trade, not a great investment long term. But if you put 12 hours in a day, you'll be able to see. Go study a industry or sector since inception. You'll know how, on average, how much a stock in that sector will go up or not. And all the oligarchs run tech. That's another reason why I love tech so much.
How do you feel about the pastor that told the Congress, he had the lady come up and she had $1,200, and he said, like, I told you there was 2,000. Like, I'm sure everybody's seen the clip, but how you feel about that?
It's heartbreaking, and it's one of the reasons why a lot of people, especially in our era, hate church. If a woman brings her and her child up and her offering is $1,200, maybe that's all she had to offer. I don't want to cast any aspersions because I don't know him personally, but you trying to embarrass a member of your church does what? When, truth be told, I go back and calculate from the 80s how much money the churches could have if they just put the money into investments and then disperse it amongst the members. There isn't much talk of that. I hate when pastors do things.
How much money would they have had?
Oh man, if we go back to just $250 a month over that time period, like be $6 or $7 million. So I'm with the building fund, but the building isn't for the people. Build and give back. There's a bunch of other ways you can do it and give back to the congregation. And this, to me, Market Mondays is my secular sermon every week to not you put anything into my collection plate, I'm pouring into yours. That's how I think churches should be run. Where is the collective fund for churches that then have distributions to the church? But that embarrassment, that old school style, I hate that shit, bro. I really do. If anybody can find me her information, please send it to me so I can put it in Stock Club for free. I hate that shit. I hate pastors like that. And also, too, for those of you who are Christian and don't check the pastors for doing stuff like that, and then you ask people why they don't want to come to church, that's part of the reason why. It's part of the reason why. And men, if that's my mama, I'm going to flip the table like Jesus did. Belt to ass in church. Don't take advantage of black women and black kids, and they're giving probably their last for your benefit, and it's not for her personal benefit. So
yeah, I think it was in very poor taste, and it was even more embarrassing because she had a son with her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I feel sorry for people. I honestly feel sorry for people that um I'm a big fan of religion because
Mm-hmm.
I think that it provides structure
For sure.
and it provides community and it provides set guidelines. I'm a big fan of that, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that that's important. Whatever religion you subscribe to,
Yep.
but I feel sorry for people that are drunk off of religious Kool-Aid. What that means is that you getting an emotionally high, you giving your life savings away,
Mm-hmm.
you chasing dreams that's never gonna come true.
And I'm just not with
It's
men
that,
intimidating women and children anyway. Do that to a man.
but there's some men out here that would do that too, though. And it's like once I get it's like a drug almost. When
Mm-hmm.
when you get wrapped up in something so much that you lose your common sense, never lose your common sense. I
Never.
think any religion, common sense and religion to me should go hand in hand.
For sure.
If you don't understand something, Stevie Wonder said something that was pretty profound years ago. He said, when you believe something without understanding, that's superstition. If you believe something without having an understanding of what you believe, that's superstition. You're
Mm-hmm.
just doing it because you don't want bad luck. You might as well just get a rabbit foot for that much. Like
Mm-hmm.
you, if somebody can't fully explain to me why 1200 is not good
Enough.
enough, I need a full explanation of that. Just because somebody's telling me no 2000 is what you need to do. Well, my common sense is saying that I got 1200. That's my
Mm-hmm.
common sense is telling me that. My common sense is telling me that in this economy, 1200 is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So my common sense is telling me that if my 1200 is not enough, then this is not the place I need to be.
For sure. For sure. And for those in the comments who are saying, well, she agreed with the pastor, a lot of times when people are bullying you, one of the things you can do to stop the bullying is to agree, so you can get peace to be able to walk away freely. That's why I don't like men harboring or using that kind of energy towards women.
But even his instructions was confusing as hell. I listened to because I'm thinking, all right, maybe he said his instructions was like, you gonna do 1 + 1. Now that's 2. Now, if you do have 12, then you could bring. Wait, stop talking like that. Like that's another thing. Just talk regular, bro. Just talk regular. We in 2025. You can communicate your message without delivering it in this way because you're harping on times that are no longer in existence. And I was listening to it, and I think I'm a fairly intelligent person, and I was confused.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, does he want? Because he said 1 + 1. 1 + 1 to me is 2. So do I come with $2?
Well,
And
they
then
say
you
she had
did mention,
$1,200 in the $2,000 line. Who gives a fuck if she was in the wrong line? She's there to give.
why is there a $2,000 line?
Facts.
This isn't fucking Vegas. Why? That's the first problem. Why is there a $2,000 line? Like this is FanDuel or something. Like, why is there a $2,000 line in church?
Yeah.
My thing is, you pass the bucket. You give what you can give, because you might not be able to give anything. Why are you embarrassing people by making them come up to the front of the congregation anyway? That's a form of embarrassment because I might not have any money in my pocket. So why are you even putting somebody on Front Street and on blast like that and embarrassing them? To me, your relationship with God should be between you and you and God. There's a bucket in the back. There's a thing in the back. If it's in your heart to give, it's in your heart to give. Why are you having a line? Why are you having a $2,000 line like we go into Magic City?
Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
I digress. I think our guest is here. Can we bring our guest up, please?
Hey,
My
what's up,
guy.
my brother?
Salute.
What's popping?
Man, all is well. Can't complain, man. I just want to say thank y'all for having me on the show. You know what I mean? I'm a fan of the platform. I tune in on the weekly.
I appreciate
you dig
that.
what I'm saying? Like, you know, Real talk. You know what I
That's
mean?
love.
Rashad, you know. So yeah, you know, it's a pleasure to be here with y'all tonight.
It's a pleasure to have you, my
Appreciate
brother.
you, my brother. Joey Badass, man. Legendary rapper, actor. You're a renaissance man, but more importantly, I like the role that you're playing now as far as a father, as far as, you know, in the relationship with your woman, open. Like, I just feel like you are setting a great example of masculinity in 2025, because it's a lot of other things that's put out there in the media, but what you're doing as far as how you're handling yourself is very reminiscent of an era that's familiar to me as far as being a little older than you, and I feel like you kind of like an old soul. So I appreciate the way that you
That's right.
carry yourself first and foremost.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate. Yeah, man. You know, I'm all for the collective, and I think that one of the main things that we need to be doing as a people is getting right with each other. And we gotta, you know, the relationship, the family aspect is a lot of healing that gotta be done in that. And you know, I kind of keep that in my sights, and I take my relationship with my woman very seriously, but you know, deeper even beyond us. Like I look at us as if we have the opportunity to course correct. We have the opportunity to stand on this platform and almost be an example, you know, to our community of what we can be and you know what we should be. But you know, no pressure, no pressure on anybody out there. I know it's definitely not easy
Joey.
finding
Well,
somebody,
that
and I
actually,
definitely
I
don't
want
want to
to.
make it seem like it's easy even being in that container with someone, because you know it
Yeah.
comes with its challenges for sure.
Well, I want to. That's where I want to start. I want to start with
Yeah,
family
let's start
because
there.
you. How old are you? How old are you?
I'm 30.
So as a young man, you got a family, right? Like, talk about that. Like, talk about to you the importance of having that family and some of the trials and tribulations, and how you're actually growing and learning how to become, you know, a family man.
Man, I think I've always been family oriented, you know,
Mhm.
just from when I was a kid, you know, barbecues and all of that, like at my great grandmother's house. And you know, I was grateful enough to be born into a big family. It's funny because I remember when you know, I got to like middle school, and I started really connecting with my friends and, you know, going by their homes and stuff. And I was like, oh, snap, like everybody ain't got a big family,
Mhm.
you know, and I started realizing how valuable that was to be able to grow up in a community that was so close knit, and you know, people looking out for each other. So I think that's just something that I definitely inherited from my childhood. However, there's a lot of things that I did not see. Like I didn't I've never been to I've probably been to like two weddings in my life.
Really?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I didn't see any real examples of affectionate love growing up.
Mm.
So even though there was family, even though there was like community, I didn't really see relationships being developed and you know, cultivated like that. So that's something that I took with me into my adulthood, and you know, that's something that I try to create for myself and for the following generation that's coming after me. You know, you know, my fiance and it's funny because just last night we like to have meetings with each other because we almost acknowledge the fact that part of being in this relationship with each other, or part of being in this container with each other, and part of cultivating a future with children and goals and stuff like that, is you kind of got to approach it from a business minded standpoint. So you know, we had one of our meetings, you know what I mean,
Mhm.
like usually we get like a WeWork office or something like that, and we meet in there and we put the goals on the board, and you know what I'm saying, we really plan it out. What's the long term? What's the short term? What's the now? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
What we gonna grab off the short term list and attack right now in like the next uh 36 next pardon me 12 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like creating what we feel we should have seen,
Mm-hmm.
becoming that, becoming the change that we want to see. And yeah, man, you know, it's so dope because you know we there and it's like, you know, our son is in there and you know he only like 4 months now, but I'm just like, this is the type of future that we want to build, not only for ourselves but for our children, where they could grow up being like, oh, see, you know, mom and dad in the meeting room again. There's a meeting of the minds again, and they part of it. You know, they part of it. Like this is what we gonna do. This is where we headed, and I think that's why a lot of relationships today are so doomed or they fail because you got two people who really don't come together and align with any
Mm.
type of goal, direction, or even business plan. You know, you got two people essentially just floating in space and not, you know, there was this quote I read a long time ago, right? It's like, I can't even necessarily remember it, but the analogy is pretty much like you being on a plane or you being on a boat. And just the smallest degree of you turning
Mm. 1 degree this way. Yep.
1 degree in this direction, or you know, you turn in the sail that direction, you end up somewhere you never even planned on going. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Negatively. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about mapping it out, and you know, because some people are passengers on their own plane.
Mm.
They're passengers on their own ship, if you will. You know, like some people don't even realize that they could get into the cockpit or they could get into the captain's seat and steer the whole thing where they want to go. So, you know, we apply that a lot and we make sure that we get super accountable on what this is and what we creating and what we ultimately want to be.
How do you pick a person that's in alignment for you? And can you talk to us about some of the challenges that you guys face and how you work through them?
I think that's a great question. I think that there's a series of like what would I call it? Almost like there's the vetting process. And I think everybody is different. It's all about, you have to know personally what your value systems are. You
Mm.
know, what do you value? What's of importance to you? And you know, I'd advise people to approach it like a business. Like if you're gonna sign a contract with somebody, right? You're gonna have non-negotiables.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nah, I ain't doing that. You know, and you gotta stand firm on what those things are. And I think again, a lot of people jump into these contracts or they jump into these situations not even understanding what they terms are. And then now you get into this situation and now you want to try to change your terms and you know what I mean, but you already got the other party used to, nah, like this is what it is. This is what we came into. This is what I expect now. You know,
Yeah.
so I think communication of course is key. You know, you gotta speak up for yourself. You gotta like I said, you gotta state what your terms are. You gotta draw the line and you gotta align, most importantly. You know, you gotta be with a with a candidate that you feel like you gonna do good business with. You know what I'm saying? Like and I hate to make it so I hate for it to seem like a transactional thing because it's really not. But I do think that the business mindset does align with it because you got to think about it. It's like, yo, listen, we could fall in love, we could be in love, but at some point, we gonna have to ask each other real questions like, so what's your like how do you save money? What's your money spending look like?
Yeah.
What's your money habits look like? Let's figure that out at the top. You know what I mean? Let's change the direction of where we going. Like I like to trim the fat. Like let's get right to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not trying to waste my time, especially, you know, me being so intentional with what it is that I know that I want to do. Like I ain't just trying to play around. Like, you know, we going for the long term, then we gotta ask long term questions. We gotta have that long term vision. Make sure that it aligns. Like I ain't gonna wait. I ain't waiting 6 months to ask what you where you trying to be. You know what I'm saying? Or you know, just ask the important questions that a
How
lot of people don't think about
So
until shit really hit the
so
fan, you know?
so your fiance, how you asked those questions right away with her?
Oh, listen. I sure did. I sure did. You know, a lot of
get right to
a
it?
lot of tough questions at the top. You
Okay.
know, and it's funny because a lot of those questions that I asked, like I could tell she wasn't used to that.
Mm.
You know, she wasn't used to be challenged in that type of way. Like, yo, like, you know, and you know, it's been so much progress for both of us. But yeah, you know, at the beginning, it'll almost be like, what you asking me these questions for? And I'm like, girl, because I'm serious. It's like I ain't trying to play around. Like, you think this is a game? Like, I'm serious. Like, what do you value? What do you like? You know what I'm saying? Like just getting really, really real. I don't got no time to play. I ain't joking.
Mm.
So
For you, can you navigate? Can you tell us how you navigate the relationship while being in the industry that you're in, and how did you overcome some of those hurdles where other people normally trip up at?
um how do I navigate while being in the industry? I
Yeah.
mean, listen, life in itself is a balancing act, right? So but yeah, you know, being in the industry, you're exposed to a lot. Um Everything that I guess the average person is exposed to. Being in the industry, you almost have these things in so much more abundance. But you know, I've been in the game. Yeah, I'm young, but I've been in the game for like 10 plus
For a
years
minute.
now.
Yeah.
You know, so I done sold my royal oats a long time ago. You know what I mean? Like many times. You know, I done did what I had to do.
Yo, you don't get in
I done got
trouble.
things out of
Yeah.
my system
Okay.
to the point where, you know, I arrive at the point, it's like, all right, this is what I'm ready for. Is really like I think it's more of a mindset thing. You know,
Mm.
I think if you in a place of like confliction, then it's gonna feel conflicting. But if you in a place where, you know, you ready to shift the mindset and you ready for a certain type of experience, then it's going online. It don't matter really like where you at. So I mean, to answer your question, like I don't find it too hard to balance being in the industry and, you know, maintaining my relationship at all.
Before we leave the relationship topic, I wanted to ask you. You said that you didn't see affection growing up.
Yeah.
So how do you learn to be affectionate if you don't see that, right?
Mm.
And how did you become an affectionate person, being that you did not see affection, like from a relationship standpoint?
Now you going into the deep shadow work.
Mm.
You going into the deep therapy territory
Mm-hmm.
now, man. You know, it's interesting because me not having that affection, what it did to me, I think it made me crave that. I wanted what I didn't have, you know, and I think I've always yearned to have the type of love that I didn't have access to, if that makes sense. So,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, there was one person in my life, my grandmother, my father's mother. She was always like she showed me what affection felt like, and she was like the only person, you know what I mean? Because both sides of my family is from the Caribbean, but she happened to be actually somebody with affection, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, you know, with Caribbean background, like it's a lot of tough love. You know what I'm saying? It's like you know you love. Don't get me wrong. Like the family bond is strong, but it's not no real like we hugging and we loving on each other. Like the physicality of it
Yeah.
is more so you know, like a mental thing, mental toughness and stuff like that. So um yeah.
You brought up shadow work. I think you may be one of the first guests that's brought that up. For those who don't know what it is, can you tell us what shadow work is, and then how did you do it in your own life to become the man that you are today?
Oh, I'm still doing it, brother. But for those who don't know, you know, shadow work is the deepest, darkest. things about yourself
Mm-hmm.
that you have to face.
Mm-hmm.
It's the things that you don't want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
It's the things that you don't want to see, the things that you don't want to acknowledge, and you coming face to face with it and being like, I see you, I hear you, and I'm willing to correct, I'm willing to heal, I'm willing to ultimately fix the damage that's been done. You
Mm-hmm.
know, because you know, we've all encountered trauma through our life. You know what I'm saying? Especially the community that we are part of. It's almost, it's a given. So, you know, that shadow work is important, especially when you're ready to really level up.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Let's do this because this is blackout. We talk about trending topics, so I want to get your
Yes,
opinion
sir.
on. I want to have a
Hey,
group
hey,
discussion
hey,
about
it's
some things.
blackout, not crash out though.
Thank you.
100%, 100%. So I want to play. Troy, can we play the revolt clip?
That'll definitely trigger episodes for me.
Mm.
100%. I had an episode, and my wife was like, after the episode, she was like, I wish I would have taped you so I can show you how you was acting. It's so bad, Black. It's so embarrassing. It's like, that's why I can see other artists when they going through something and know they smiling. Because when I'm walking, like, I say the most cruel stuff. Like, I might talk about your kids. Like, I say stuff that when it's over with, I'm so embarrassed that I said that. It ain't a good thing, you feel me?
Yeah.
I might say, I put your baby in the microwave.
But in that moment, you meant,
I meant it.
Yeah.
It's scary.
yeah.
And then you be like, damn, I can't believe I said that out my mouth. You can't even believe you said that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
When you snap out of your episodes or whatever, and you see it and you go to feeling, that's a whole nother
that's a
part
whole
of
nother
trauma.
thing. That's
Yeah.
a whole nother trauma.
So that's fucking with you too, all at the
That's
same
fucking with
time,
you
what
too.
you done did.
Because it's embarrassing.
But you looking at it as embarrassment, but the people outside, the fans shit, they embracing it from you. Like, you
But-
wouldn't be Gucci if you wasn't doing that
But
shit.
this keep getting me locked up though.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So I had to see a therapist. I had to get prescribed medicine. I had to take my shit seriously so I don't never have no episode again, because like once I had my little boy and my little girl, I'm like, I don't want to never go through no episode while I got these two kids. I need to be there for them.
All right. So for me, this whole Gucci Man thing is something that I'm extremely proud of him, first and
I am
foremost.
too.
And you know, that was extremely insightful. Him and that Breakfast Club interview too with him, because we talk about mental health a lot, but there's different levels of mental health. So schizophrenia, right?
Mhm.
That's a different level of mental health than like a bipolar or depression would be. And so, you know, it's interesting because there's so many artists. When you look at whether it's Ye, there's so many different people, right? You like a lot of talented people, and in the moment, people can't understand why they acting like that, why they doing like that. And I think he explained it very well, right?
Mhm.
And even him saying like, "Yo, it's embarrassing. Like I gotta tell people like, no, I wasn't in my right mind, pretty much." And then it was like him saying like he accepted the fact that he has to take some level of medicine. I think that was an important conversation as well, because I feel like, as a community, we have a stigma about medicine, rightfully so. But sometimes, a lot of times, there are situations where, medicine is actually helpful, right? And when he said going to jail, that 1 minute was so deep, because the jails are packed with people that have mental illness. And it was like, he's like, his mental illness is pretty much sending him to jail. So like in that 1 minute clip, he touched on so many high level, deep mental health things. And I just thought that was really, really impactful conversation. So I want to get both of you guys, how y'all feel about that?
I mean, I mean, Gucci, it seems like he's doing the shadow work.
Mhm.
It seems like he's in the thick of it. He's like on the other side of it now. So I love to see that, especially from just the type of artist that we know him to be. I'm glad that this generation and the younger generation can be able to walk through that journey with him and understand how much you know we can progress and how much like one thing that I liked about his Breakfast Club interview is how he said, yeah, I was making songs about like popping pills and stuff, and it's like, yo, there's probably mad people who started doing drugs now because of me, and I'm not proud of that.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important for him to say, and that's so accountable, you know. So I mean, you know, in short, I love the work. Shout out to Gucci, man. Like, you know, he's been through a lot, and I know that his story and him coming out and telling his story is doing a lot for a lot of people. Because I never even knew that he was having episodes like that. I never even knew he was schizophrenic or
Yeah.
bipolar or nothing like that. So shout out to his bravery,
For
even,
sure.
you know.
You just thought you just thought that that was just Gucci. That was just who he was.
I thought that was just who he was, you know, just a fly off the handle type of person. Like, you know, we know these type of people, you know, we grew up with these type of people. You know, shot, I be seeing you ready to fly off the handle sometimes, man, you know.
Oh my God.
But man, you know, shout out to Gucci though, man. You know, one of them babies in the microwave is crazy, man. Came a long way, man. Shout out to
Yeah, them
Gucci.
tweets back in the day. Yeah, Gucci was different. I commend his bravery though. And also you got to give a lot of credit to his wife for sticking by his side, uplifting him. I know even in the Breakfast Club interview, and for those of you who are in Atlanta, cleaning some of that circle up. Like one of the things that was interesting with Kim's interview, she talked about when Kanye would go through those episodes, he'll give the Lamborghinis away. And Gucci
Yeah, I
said he
heard
would do
about
the
that.
same thing. And I'm like, my first thought was, damn, if you know they're going through these breaks, your first thought is to go over there and take. Like, you know, when your friends are going through something and spiraling out of control. And I just love the fact the way that she's loved on him and how he's cleaned up that circle and has changed his life around. But a lot of it too is like some of the pressures from what you're going through, trauma that hasn't been fixed. Gucci lived a rough life, and a lot of people in the streets, if you know people in the streets, a lot of them battle with those same
Yeah.
kind of demons as a trauma response. But kudos to him for being open about this, the drug use, the schizophrenia, um, and kudos to his wife for being by his side to like guide him and help steer him back on the right course.
Nah,
For
word up,
sure.
because there was certain things that they was saying, and I'm just like, damn, like he cool with them saying that, you know what I mean, public,
And
but
now he
Yeah.
was very, but it's important because Ian, you brought up, you just said like if somebody knows that you're going through something, why would they take it? I would say a lot of times somebody might not know. Like there's a lot of like even the Kanye thing, right? Like I'm sensitive to mental health, so I can kind of see different things and I can have different
Yep.
perspectives on things. So I remember the last time, like last year, he was going through something, and a friend of mine, you know, pretty high profile person, and he was going in on Ye, like, yo, I'm just like, yo, bro, he's not, I don't think he's in his right mind. He's like, nah, man, he need to snap out of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, he need to get punched in his face. Da, da, da. And I'm like, but that's a mentality that a lot of people have because they just can't fully wrap their head around that somebody might have a chemical imbalance. Somebody might
right.
not. Like, it's hard for people to fully understand that in that moment, right? So
Mhm.
I think it's important that we educate, we got to keep educating people on what mental health really is, the different levels of mental health, the different severities of mental health. That sometimes, like, that's why I can't hold anybody that's not in their right mind accountable for the actions that they're doing because they're not in their right mind. But also we have to help those people because, like I said, there's a lot of people in jail who's mentally ill. And it's like they're doing things not in their right mind. Then when you mix that with drugs, it makes it even worse, right? So it's like I think a lot of times as Black people, we don't accept mental illness because it could be embarrassing, it could be a stigma. So we just say like, oh, he's just bugged out, or he just smoked some crazy shit, or he's just a crazy, he's a bug out. Like everybody knew, oh, he's a bug out. Like you see somebody on a train and they just bugging out, but it's like, nah, they really got serious mental health problems, right? And like
I'll
that's
even add
something
on
that
to that, you know, not to cut your wisdom, but I'll even add on to that where I feel like as Black people, sometimes we also don't even know how to identify that the mental health is like in a declining state. You know, because there are a lot of symptoms and terminology for a lot of these behaviors that our community doesn't really have. Like I remember when I first came across and I first learned the term gaslighting. I would hear it for a minute, and then I finally looked it up, and I'm like, yo, I've been gaslit my whole life. Like, and it's something that really triggers me is
Yeah.
you know, people making you out to be like you crazy, like you didn't just see the thing that you saw. So I think again, it's about education too, right? Like we got to educate ourselves on a lot of these disorders, right? And the symptoms that they come with, what's actually happening for these people. Because you know, I think you know we see bipolar disorder and we be like, oh, he got two sides to him, but it's way more layered than that. It's way more nuanced than that. Schizophrenia, oh, he hears voices, but there's like 4 types of different schizophrenia of you know that could be affecting different people. So yeah.
Was you worried about mental health when you was handing out them ass whoopings earlier this year? Because you caused some mental health problems. For hey, walk me through that. I know you in your enlightened conscious bag, but when you was handing out them ass whoopings earlier this year.
Man, shit. I would say that yeah, I was worried about my own mental health, man. Like, yo, listen, that battling in this day and age is not for the weak, man. Cause every day, like yo, my phone ring, I'm like, damn, somebody dropped again. It's
Yeah.
like it was a lot. And then for me, in the position I was in, I had a lot of people coming at me. I had like a lot of adversaries in the situation. So for
Why
me,
is
it
that,
was
you think?
like, you said what?
Why do you think that was? You had so many people coming at you.
Oh, because I made a bold statement. Yeah, you know, I know exactly why I was. You know, for those of you who don't know, earlier this year, I took to the rap ethos, and there was I had a song called "The Ruler's Back" where you know I was just claiming lyrical prowess, and you know I was in this energy, and I said something along the lines of "too much West Coast dick licking." You know what I mean?
Which is a
And a
Jay-Z,
lot of
which is a Jay-Z. That's a Jay-Z reference for people that don't know.
exactly, you
Early,
know, real ones know, real ones know, and you know, a lot of people, in my opinion, took it out of context. But I did come to realize and understand why it was taken out of context, and honestly, I had to respect it. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause when I put, I'm a very I like to think that I'm a very fair-minded, just person. So when I put the shoe on the other foot, I was like, oh, okay, I
You
could see that.
understood. Yep.
I could see that. So at this point, I got to take what comes with it. Look, I know I don't mean no disrespect. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't no disrespect put into that. But if people felt like they had to stand up for their side, which a lot of people did, they stood up and, you know, they threw they shit at me or whatever. I just had to respect it. I'm like, yo, it is what it is. You know, maybe be a little bit more clearer because, you know, what I realized that one of my homies from the West Side actually broke it down for me too. He was like, you know, the only thing that you forgot to say was that it's love. You know what I mean? Like you didn't say that in the record.
Yeah.
So for the people who don't know you, when that landed on their doorstep, it was like, huh? And when he brought, I was like, yeah, you know what, you're right. I think that I made this because I have a lot of allies, a lot of ties with, you know, West Coast artists, you know, TDE, you know, 1500 or nothing,
That's the
you know,
fam.
Vince Staples, you know, the list goes on, you know, and I've had ties with West Coast artists for years, all my whole career, you know, I've always respected West Coast artists. And I think that I underestimated how far this was gonna go past those people. Cause I right away when it started happening and you know it was going viral and everything, I called on my people like, yo, we good? like you know, like I called Absol. Absol's one of the first people I called. I'm like, yo, like, you know, I call Absol, I call Top. I'm like, yo, like, you know what I'm saying? People starting stuff on the internet, like we good though, right? He's like, yeah, nah, like, you know what I'm saying? We know you and me, no disrespect. I'm like, okay, cool. That's what I assumed. But like I said, it was the people who didn't know me, who didn't know my character, who don't know my heart, who took it as disrespect. And you know, it was understandable because it came from nowhere and they like, who's this nigga? Like, who the fuck is this? You know, so but to your
well,
point,
we
shots was thrown and you know, I had to return some back.
well, you know, the thing I liked about your situation was that it was friendly fire. Like, you know, it didn't never
Yeah.
seem like it got to a point where it was off the. It was for the love of the sport, right? we was
That's
talking to
dope.
Angie Martinez earlier today, myself and Troy, and she was talking about hip hop, and she was like, she asked us, do you think that there's times where people go too far? And I said, yeah. I said, when you talking about somebody's children, to me, that's too far.
Absolutely.
And
Agree.
I was saying to me, and Kendrick, Kendrick's top 5 to me. But I think
Absolutely,
that that's
without a
one
doubt.
that I think that that's the most disrespectful rap record of all time. I think it's more disrespectful than Hit 'Em Up to me, because Hit 'Em Up, Pac was just
Which one
wilding.
you talk about? You talk
But
about Meet the
Kendrick,
Grams?
yes, because he wrote a letter to his son, his mother, and his father, right? And I don't know how you can, like, nah, it's different, bro. Like, that's just different, right? So it's like,
To the fake kid.
no,
Oh,
no,
that's
to the
what.
real son,
Oh, to Adonis.
to the
Got
real
you.
Yeah,
son, to the fake daughter,
That's
Makes sense.
the
crazy.
As
mother,
well.
and the
That's
father.
crazy.
Like, nah, I never seen nobody like that before, man. So, am I bugging, or like you like? Is it okay to talk about people's children?
No, I don't think it's okay to talk about people's children. I mean, I think we even just seen that with what was going on with Cardi B and Nicki
Cardi and Nick.
Minaj.
Yeah.
They happen to not take it to, wax. But yeah, I think it's never cool, man. It's never cool. Like, y'all two individuals got a problem. Like, I'm old school like that, man. Listen, let's meet up in the park at this time and let's knuckle up. You know what I'm saying? Nobody else got to get involved. It's a one-on-one. Let's go head up and it's over after that. We can have a conversation or not. You know what I'm saying? But we handled our business and we left it all there. So yeah, that's never cool. And I definitely wanted to make an example out of that with what I got into earlier this year. Like, I made sure to handle my stuff without taking my gloves off. I ain't, talk about nobody girl. I ain't talk about nobody mama. I ain't talk about nobody kid. And I wanted to set that example that, like, yo, these battles can be won without
Yeah.
taking it to the extreme, without hitting below the belt. You know what I'm saying? Terrence Crawford style. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Fair and square.
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this too. I want to get your opinion on this, because shout out to my man Stick Watts, because we were talking about this, and I want to get both of y'all opinion on this. But Joey, since you a hip hop head, they say, yo, he started it first because he talked about his fiance.
Oh yeah.
Now,
Agreed.
am I wrong by saying this? To me, I don't want to sound the wrong way, but
Nah, go ahead.
you
Hey, this
look,
blackout, not crash
Come on.
out.
Come on.
100%. Talking about somebody's fiance or somebody's wife is not as bad as talking about their kid, because there's a standard in hip hop. I'm not saying that it's right, but Pac, Jay, people have talked about somebody's girl and wife for a long. Like, it's not
You know what?
okay,
Uh-huh.
but it's
I
almost.
agree with that. I agree with that, but I think it's more of the angle that you take, right? Because I think, for me personally, I was ready for whatever was going to come at me, because I accept the fact that I'm a public figure. So I'm fair game. My life is on display. And if I'm battling me, if I'm somebody coming at me, I'm going to use what I have. Right. But I think it's all about the angle. And I think in the Drake and Kendrick situation, Drake was saying something along the lines of, like, your fiance is sleeping with your best friend and your kids are not yours. And I think that's where the line was crossed. That's
And
where the line was crossed more so. Like, it was after that was said that Kendrick returned with the diabolical "Sit Your Family Down" in the therapy session record. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think if that didn't happen, like, because he even said it's like, yo, we could keep it friendly. We could do the friendly fade. But I think, in this case, Drake did kind of cross a line, because it's like, yo, that's like me battling you, Rashad. I'm like, yo, that's why your son in. Like, yo, that's OD. That's violation.
yeah.
Like, wait, what? Like, cool. Talk about, throw a jab. Oh, your fiance, boom, boom, boom. Like, she got a crooked foot, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But, like, now you crossing in, like, the morality of, and then my kid, you trying to say my kid is not mine. Like, that's a little bit below the belt, in my opinion. Like, if I'm the ref, I'm like, hold on, that's a technical foul right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how you
That's
feel
a
about
fact.
it.
I mean, it's rules of engagement for war. I wasn't there, but from what I was told, when they had that phone call, they had an agreement for what was not going to be talked about. and the first thing you do is get to talking about love Drake, shout out to VO, shout out to Baka, etc. But the hubris is what cost him the war. Y'all had the conversation. He offered you the fade. You turned down the fade. Y'all agreed to no family shit. And the first thing out is the family shit. And I'm
Right.
like, you can't be responsible for how a person responds when you give them disrespect first, especially if we agreed
No,
to
that's a
not
fact.
go down this path, especially when you've been knowing that boy wanted to take your head off 13 years ago.
That's a fact.
It's a lot of deep shit in that battle that never get brought up. But once you cross that line, yes, it may not be the same, but man, that was a miscalculation. It was a miscalculation.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Joey, let me ask you this.
Please.
Jermaine Dupri, somebody that obviously we all respect a lot. He had a tweet. He said, "Artists will never learn. Once the people like you, all they want you to do is keep giving them what they like, not go experiment with some new shit." How you feel about that? Because a lot of artists, that's an interesting perspective coming from
It
him.
is.
So how you feel about that?
I feel indifferent about it. And it's crazy because I had this conversation with my father a couple weeks ago. And he said the same shit to me. He was like, yo, listen, man, if you want to make the shit that you want to make, you want to do what you love, like do it with your family. like
Mm.
like these people don't care about you. They want what they want from you. And it was kind of a tough pill for me to swallow, especially as someone who is so headstrong on I'm gonna do what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because and Ian, you talk about it a lot, just as far as putting yourself in the best position possible. This shit is about freedom.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's one of the things that I value the most is freedom. So I'm free to do whatever, and with something that's sensitive, I'm an artist, I'm sensitive about my shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I go through different things in my life, right? Like I came into this game as a 17-year-old kid who was doing hood rat shit with his friends, skateboarding and fighting and doing
Mm-hmm.
all bunch of bullshit. And now it's like, yo, I'm a suburban dad dude. Like my life look different. You know what I'm saying? And I think that reflects a little bit different in how I approach my art. You dig what I'm saying? Like I'm a family man. Like I resonated with Gucci when he said that in the Breakfast Club interview. He's like, yo,
Mm-hmm.
I'm in bed by 8. I'm like, shit, I'm in bed by 10. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not outside.
It's
I'm
hard to
not.
keep you past your bedtime, man.
Yeah, now that's a fact. Yo, I ain't gonna lie.
I appreciate you.
I usually catch blackout on Thursday morning.
Next day, yeah,
Y'all boys go too late for me.
yeah,
But yeah, so I definitely understand it though, because and the reason why I understand it is from a branding perspective,
mm-hmm.
right? This is what you guys talk about all the time. It's like I'm coming to Target for a specific reason. Like I'm coming to maybe Target's
Yeah.
not
We
the
can't go
best
to
Wa-
Target no
Walmart,
more. Walmart.
yeah. Maybe Target's
CVS.
not, but yeah, I'm coming to Walmart, for a specific reason. I know I have access to a variety of items. So the moment that Walmart decides to be like, you know what, we only selling clothes, I'm not going no more.
Mm-hmm.
Cause this is not this is not the brand. This is not what you guys have primed me for. This is why I mess with y'all, because y'all got everything I need. Is a one-stop shop. I don't come here for clothes. I mean, shit, I might buy like a robe or something, or I'm in the newborn section. You know what? Let me get these little pants for my son real quick. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like he grown quick. Let me grab you. I literally just did that earlier today. But so I get it from that perspective. It's just that I know a lot of artists will feel indifferent about it because you are allowed, I believe that artists are allowed to evolve and, transcend and grow what they are. Like some of the greatest artists of our time have done that. Look at Kanye West. Like his artistic arc and journey has never been around doing the same type of sound or sticking to the same type of sound. College Dropout and Late Registration was that. Then it was
He
Graduation
evolved. Yeah.
was an evolved version of that. Then he went with 808s and Heartbreak.
Yeah.
Then years later he came with Yeezus. Like, and every time it's like I feel, we talking about the good days, right?
Mm-hmm.
But every time we were kind of there on that journey with him, and I don't think we like was like, nah, like, you know, he can't do that. Like, I think that was kind of dope, and you know, so I hear what he's saying though, and it could definitely apply to certain artists, but yeah, there's exceptions to every rule, I feel like.
As an artist, how do you balance the I'm gonna do boom bap, bar you to death versus commercial slap that the label may have wanted or ego may want for certain success?
That's a great question, and I'm glad you asked that. I'm still learning. You know, I'm still learning because, you know, and that's why that question, you know, resonates with me so deeply because at times I do feel like I am required to deliver a certain type of sound
Mm-hmm.
for the brand that I've built. But then at times it's like, you know, when I do my more mainstream sound, if you will, right, for lack of a better term, that's me.
Mm-hmm.
That's it ain't nobody else telling me to do that. That's really me wanting to challenge myself. My favorite thing to hear as an artist is, yo, you made this? This you?
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite thing to hear is because it lets me know that I successfully stepped out of my comfort zone and challenged myself to do something different, to even challenge the listener. And they didn't even know that I could do that,
Mm-hmm.
expanding their horizons of what's possible for me.
Joey, before you leave, I want to just do one more clip. We could get a group discussion of Troy. Can you play this Canal Street clip, please?
On New York City streets as ICE agents descended on Canal Street from Church over to Lafayette, targeting street vendors in perhaps one of the worst kept secrets of a location for an underground market in the city, a place that's known to sell knockoff designer handbags and perfume and fake Rolex watches, to name a few. Now, Citizen video shows at least one person who was taken by ICE. Another video shows the chaos as heavily armed federal agents swept in multiple vehicles, at least one of which was heavily armored. Now, angry New Yorkers then confronted ICE agents, and in that backlash, many of them started blocking cars from leaving, and some of those people were taken into custody by federal agents. Now, tonight, the Department of Homeland Security tells Fox 5 that they arrested a separate person for assaulting a police officer, but city officials, at least some city officials, were out here tonight to say that federal agents have no business cracking down on the city's street vendors.
All right, now Joe, you from New York, Brooklyn. You know your parents, immigrants, and you know the fabric of New York. Canal Street is it's an unwritten rule. You just let them just sell the
Let them
bootleg.
rock.
All that, there's
Do they thing.
the African brothers. They out there. They hustling. They selling. You know whatever they get their hands on as far as like all of the bags and glasses and stuff like that. Man, this ICE thing is just going to another level. So you as a New Yorker, right? You obviously know about Canal Street, you know the whole landscape, right? What's your thoughts on that?
Man, first of all, the craziest thing about me seeing that clip just now is I was just on Canal Street on Friday.
Mm.
And, you know, we was all in the car, you know, I was with my team and we were having a conversation like, and I even said something along the lines of, I'm surprised ICE ain't cracked down on them yet. I literally said something like that, you know, because for some reason lately, Canal Street been booming like the 1990s.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's been active out there. I don't know what's going on, but man, you know, it breaks my heart what's going on, what's happening. And shout out to my brother Vic Mensa
Shout
because
to
I
Vic.
love the piece that he just did with the New York Times. You know, bring it to the forefront and showing people what's really going on. You know what I'm saying? And I feel inspired to, you know, I'm not sure what's this gonna mean for New York moving forward, but it's inhumane what's going on at this point. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like what do we even do? How do we what do we do? You know what I'm saying? How do we respond as a collective, as a community? I think that is the main problem that we have to solve
Mm-hmm.
because you know I've been to the protests. I've been to many protests in my life, and I get home and I feel like I did nothing today,
Mm.
but just increase my chance of going to jail. And I done seen some homies go to jail, or then I ended up in jail. You know what I mean? And it's just like every time I just feel so frustrated because I feel like the main way that we solve this problem is by organizing, and we're just so disorganized. And what I'm seeing is a divide and conquer strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they're really trying to push some type of civil uprise.
Mm-hmm. Going back to the top
That's
of the
what.
show, there's money in chaos.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
You know, and
yeah, man,
that's
it's
what
just happening.
that clip earlier that we played, that full clip, we said the only way that like a tyrant plays out is that people accept and to live under tyranny, or they revolt. That's the only two options.
Coup d'etat. Yeah.
Joey, before you leave, can you talk about what you got going on? The tour. What happened with the tour? Are you still at odds with your label? Are you on a label? Like, talk about where you're at right now with your career.
So okay, this actually will be the first time that I spoke about it. So with the tour, man, I've thought about how to address this, right? And I'm just gonna choose honesty. I'm gonna choose raw honesty, despite the fact of people in my corner telling me not to be honest, make up something, this, that, the third. But my honest truth of why I canceled the tour is that my mental health was just not aligned with it.
Mm.
I did not feel mentally fit enough to embark on this journey. You know what I'm saying? I got my 5-month-old son. We trying to figure out vaccinations and all this
Mm-hmm.
stuff. It's just such a critical time. Um, my energy level was at an all-time low. You know what I'm saying? I've seen a lot of people talking about, oh yeah, obviously the tour tickets didn't sell. Like, listen, I've been touring for a long time. Like, tickets sell. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, this goes back to um freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Me, like, this is like I had to choose me, and I'm really sincerely sorry about all of my fans that I've disappointed and let down, who was excited in seeing me. Y'all money has been refunded. I seen that. I got that money back. So, but I know that y'all was really excited to see me, and I was excited to see y'all too. But I just did not have the bandwidth myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to choose me. And it's funny because I really was just gonna go through with it, despite me knowing that I was gonna be suffering inside. And I happened to open up to one of my team members, and they really made me feel supported and was like, yo, listen, if this is what you want to do, like, we ain't about to push you to do this, you know what I'm saying? So I really do appreciate that. Like, it's not like there wasn't money on the table that I was walking away from, but I had to choose me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, my mental health is important to me, and I just couldn't. Yeah, I just had to choose me. That's all I could say. That's the honest truth. You know what I mean? They wanted me to tell you I booked the role. They wanted me to tell you that my dad wanted me to tell you that he was that yo tell him there's something wrong with me. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I
Yeah,
ain't
don't
playing
speak.
with
Yeah.
energy like that. You
Mm-mm.
know what I'm saying? So the honest to God truth is that Joey I just couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? I had to pull out. I had to choose me. And if y'all mad at me for that, so be it. I accept that. Accept what comes with that. Understand y'all disappointed. But yeah, when I feel fit enough, I will be back out there and I'll be back on that road. You know what I'm saying? Rest assured. So I don't know when that is at this point right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking time to prioritize what I gotta do for myself and my family. And that's what it is.
How often do you make decisions with your spirit opposed to what most people will say is best for business? Because I don't think people factor that in enough.
Mhm.
Following your intuition. How often do you practice that?
The older that I get, the more that I
Mm-hmm.
practice that, because I've made many decisions. Like, I learned a long time ago that all money ain't good money.
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter the price tag.
Yep.
Depending on what you got to do or what you got to endure to get through that make that money feel different.
Yep.
It don't matter what the number is, the money feels different depending on how you feel after you had to go get that money, because it's just you, and I even want to talk about that. Touring with artists is like a lot of people don't realize is like we get paid last. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody else gets paid off the top, guarantees. We got to take all the expenses, and on top of that, we got to put our bodies on the line, our health on the line, all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then come home with what's left. It's a lot, man. It's mentally draining. It's physically draining. It's emotionally draining. And I've been doing this a long time to know the forecast of how I'm going to feel. Getting out there and having to do what I got to do. So, I'm grateful that I've earned the freedom to be able to even like be like, you know what, nah, like I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? And it not be a matter of like, oh, nah, you got to do it because how you gonna eat? You know what I mean? So I'm grateful for that. But yeah, I had to be real, man. I had to be real with myself, and yeah, I advise to that point too. I advise, listen, man, your spirit is just as important. You know what I'm saying? Like fame or the money, it don't hit the same when the substance is not there. So values, go back to values, man. I value my mental health. I value my physical health, my emotional health and well-being way too high at this point in my life. Way too high.
No, I appreciate that, my brother. I think
Yeah,
that
for
that's
real.
something that's vitally important as far as the transparency, because there's a lot of people that's going through everything, just in jobs or trying to figure out their next move, and just having that honest conversation with yourself and being able to communicate that. I think once again, like the Gucci Man thing, it's helpful to somebody else that might be going through a similar situation. So,
And I
I
empathize
appreciate
with
it, man.
those people because that was one of the hardest parts of me making this decision was me acknowledging the fact that I'm in this great position where I could go on tour. And there's a lot of artists who want to go on
Who
tour.
would love to? Yep.
I was getting calls every day, yo, can I jump on the tour? Boom, boom, boom. And that was one of the hardest things for me to do because I don't want to seem like I don't really appreciate this shit. And I know that there's people out there who really don't got the freedom to say no.
Yeah.
So yeah, my heart goes out to my fans, my heart goes out to those people, and yeah, man, I I had to do it, and I advise anybody to do it as well if they was in my position too.
I love it.
Man, yo, man, I appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you for real.
Any music anything coming out? You want to announce like any acting role or music or anything?
Yeah, you might see something on Deadline in the next couple weeks. Yeah.
Okay.
Something
Okay.
real big. I got two big film projects coming up that I'm excited to share, but I can't let the cat out the bag myself. I'll let the film companies and productions do that. But yeah, new music is being worked on. That's all I'll say right now. And yeah, stay tuned, man. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Got a
That's what
lot
it
of
is, man.
exciting things coming. So,
I
That's what it
appreciate you, my
is.
brother,
Well, I
for real.
appreciate you, my brother. Always a pleasure, man. Thank you for
yes, sir.
joining us. And like, yeah, sorry to keep you up so late.
For real.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. Real quick, I appreciate you guys, and I just want to give y'all flowers, man. Y'all are doing incredible work for the community. I'm so glad that I found y'all platform because you guys have helped me in ways that you guys don't even know. You guys have given me so much insight, and I know the community is. I don't know if you guys like the word niche, but this is the platforms that we need right here. So y'all brothers keep doing what y'all doing. I know y'all gonna keep doing it, but I gotta say it anyway, and know that y'all are doing God's work for our people and for our collective. And it's an honor for me to be here with y'all tonight.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that for real.
Appreciate that, man. I
Yes, sir.
appreciate that. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Peace.
All right. Shout out to
Amazing
Joey
combo.
Badass, man.
Shout out to Joey.
Good brother, man.
Yeah.
Good brother, man. Good brother. All right, we got about 10 minutes left. You want to crash out real quick? We got some good videos that I would like to I want to get. Troy, can we do the inflation video? This is crazy.
30 years are like the last. By 2025, you will see prices like this.
Okay.
An average house in 2055, what do you think it will cost? First of all, what do you think a house costs right now, average house?
I'll go 350,000.
Okay, I don't know the answer to that, but the average house in 2055, what do you think it should be?
It should be maybe 600,000.
Whoa, double.
Yeah, 200% increase.
If the next 30 years are like the last 30 years, the average house will cost $1.6 million.
Yeah, no, that's painful and that hurts.
Yeah, we're on a sad decline here.
This is the truth here. Well, inflation, right?
That's not inflation. That's like astronomical inflation.
Yeah, it's bad.
How much do you think a new car will cost in 2055?
In 2055, a new car will cost $35,000.
Okay, a new car, if the 30 years are like the last 30 years, will cost $218,165.
I can't afford that, Brian.
Which is the cost of like a very small house in New Jersey.
Oh my goodness.
Guess how much average rent will be in 2055?
Let's go $4.5 thousand.
It's going to cost $6,500 per month in 2055.
I'm trying to guess with you, you know?
How much do you think a cup of coffee will cost in 2055?
Oh, you mean a cup of Joe?
Cup of Joe, well, that you're addicted to.
$8.90.
$28 a cup.
No, that's can't be real.
It is 100% real.
Oh my goodness.
How much do you think a gallon of gasoline will cost in 2055?
Gallon of gas here in New Jersey is $3. In like LA, it's like $6 or $7. Let's go with $7 or $8.
$16 a gallon.
Yeah, insane.
And then the opposite way, guess how much minimum wage will be in 2055 comparatively to all these prices?
Yeah, it's not going to be as high. $35.
No, $12.36 per hour.
Across the country.
How are you going to afford a $1.6 million house? How much do you think an average household income will be in 2055?
Let's go 200. So let's go $1 million.
$92,702.
I don't know why I was trying to inflate it like you did the other thing.
No, because salary's not going up, but the price of everything is going up. That's the point here, and it sucks.
By design, too. Once again, Monday, I told you, when hedge funds began to buy single family homes at scale, there was a reason why. And this is why investing is so important. Costs are not, okay, put in chat. Do you think the cost of things are going to go down, or in your lifetime, have they went down or have they went up? And the crazy part is for the people who like coffee would never cost that much. Jimmy Butler was selling $20 cups during COVID. You don't think Starbucks or Dutch Bros saw that and was like, or Dunkin' Donuts, and let me figure out a way how to do that version of that at scale? You have to invest. Free and clear is the way to go. Free and clear is the way to go.
100%. You got to invest. And that's why Red Panda is so vitally important, because it actually tells you where to invest, right? The right price. Because where you invest is almost as important as what you invest in.
Yep.
You got to, and if there's any saving grace with this whole house debacle that I got myself into, is that real estate's going to go up.
Yep.
So it's like one of these things, right? Where it's like, all right, well, you know, bite the bullet now. So, you know, 20 years from now, I mean, what are you going to do? The rent's going to continue to keep going up. And housing is going to continue to go up. So at the very least, the value of your house is going to go up over the course of time. If you try to buy a house, the same house is going to be 4 times more, 3 times more. But the alarming thing is that income is not going up at the same level
At all.
And net worth is not going up at the same level. But everything else is going up at the same level. So spooky hours, man, when you really look at it. But like I said, we've seen it in our lifetime. You said like $100,000 car. When I was a kid, that was a elite level. Now $100,000 car is like just a, you know,
an SUV with some added.
A Tahoe, like a fucking Chevy Tahoe for like $90,000 if you get, you know, the premium package. So it says a lot about the times that we're in, but it's only up from here. It's never going down. It's only going up. And that's why the dollar keeps going down. So you either have to make tremendously more money, or you got to find a way for your money to make more money. Best case scenario, do both. Make more money while your money is making money.
And Amazon, the second largest employer in the U.S., aims to replace more than 500,000 jobs with robots, according to the New York Times. And even with Starbucks saying, hey, I'm going to go all in on AI. I'm sure they won't come out with the LLM, but they're going to probably follow in the direction of Amazon. And opposed to having physical baristas, find a way to have robotic baristas there. We were there at NVIDIA's conference. We saw some of the robots there that can function and do that. So if you think they're okay, in your lifetime, has there been an increase in jobs that pay well or dramatic decrease since 1999 or 2000? And I want to ask you, Rashad, when do you think the peak of America was? What year? Just from a field standpoint, no data.
Yeah, 2000.
I think so too.
Ever since 9/11, it's been a downward spiral. There's been peaks and moments. There's been peaks, but 9/11 kind of set this whole thing up. 9/11 set this whole thing up. Speaking of that, can we play the second part of that Lamont Hill clip, Troy? The downfall of America.
Seventh Fleet in the South China Sea isn't going to change that. The American empire is over. We're done. We peaked about 12, 15 years ago, and we are on a down. And it's very hard for the American people, which I understand. I am one. It's hard to get your head around that. We've had a century of on the way up, which is a lot more fun than on the way down. But it does happen to every empire. We're only the latest. Look at the British, how far they've fallen. We're in that process. So the problem with the trickle down is, yeah, there might be more jobs, but they're going to be created in China. They're going to be created in Brazil. They're going to be created in India. They're not created here. The best electric vehicles in the world right now, but by uniform global agreement, are produced by something called the BYD Corporation. They make the best quality, cheapest electric car and truck. Right? You don't see them anywhere in the United States. Why not? Because Mr. Trump put a 27% tariff on them, and Mr. Biden raised it to 100%.
And people will be forced to buy U.S. stuff.
Right.
Which then creates U.S. jobs, which again stimulates the economy.
All right, let me be the economist. Okay? That's good for the Tesla company, which I'm sure is purely coincidental, and GM and Ford and the others. Good. And they'll maybe be able to hold on to some jobs. Good. But now let's follow the bouncing ball, because that's my job as an economist. Yeah. If you take the United States together with the other G7 countries, that used to be the dominant bloc of the world, right? The United States, let's just enumerate them so everybody knows. Canada, Japan, Germany, France, Italy, and Britain. Okay, the G7. And I'm going to add up all the GDP, gross domestic product, total output of goods and services of all of those 7 countries, U.S. and its major allies. And now I'm going to compare it to the gross added up GDPs of China and its allies, known now as the BRICS. You add up the United States, about 28% of world output. You add up China and the BRICS, it's 35% of the world output. We aren't the wealthiest bloc in the world. We're number 2, and that's new, and that changes everything. And you can rattle your sabers all over the board. You put the 7th Fleet in the South China Sea, isn't going to change that. You've got to come to terms with that, but we are led by people who don't want to do that, because nobody wants to be the politician who has to explain to the people it's over.
What more can I say?
Hate to be an alarmist, guys, but been saying this for a while now. And America needs new friends, because we're definitely holding up. That's a bad batch of crew. That's a bad crew to be around. Britain, Italy. Why is Italy in this situation? Canada, no disrespect to the Canadians. Germany, Britain, America is. That's why Trump is acting like, because America is Michael Jordan on that
Wizards team. I kept saying it. It's Hulk Hogan in the 80s, Rambo in the 80s.
And he's America's Allen Iverson on the Sixers team.
When he
Like,
came
that's
back from
America's Allen Iverson on that. Huh? Matumbo?
look, let's not do AI like that. Shout out to AI, book out. Go get his book.
Oh, I'm just saying, like, America's holding up this whole thing by like BRICS got China, they got China, they got Russia, they got Saudi Arabia. Like, America needs new friends.
And when you made
sure.
enemies for the last 100 years, it's really hard to get friends. And once again, we're the only nation of this size that thinks in 3 and 4 year cycles. They've been plotting revenge for 50 years, and now they haven't. And to old boy who kept telling me BRICS isn't real and da da da. I hear you. Here we are. Here we are. They did everything they could to take all the way all funded from Huawei and not make it as dominant as this phone. And Huawei has a car, which Apple, that idea came from Huawei. And then they dropped the car project. But Huawei has cars and phone and tablets, and it's over with. It's over with.
And I went to China. I saw firsthand that technology is way more superior than ours. Their electric cars, they got electric cars that you never even heard of before. BYD is one thing, but there's 20 electric cars in China. There's literally 20 electric car companies in China that look like Maybachs that you never even heard of before.
Yeah.
And then the end of any empire, it usually has a titanium figure and fighting from the inside. Most empires implode internally, not externally. See what happens now. You got Trump trying to build the arc of fucking Trump, like it's Paris. He's blowing up the East Wing. He's doing all kinds of shit. They got ICE sending people to Africa. That's a sign of an empire going rogue. It's always a leader. It's always one crazy leader. Look at Egypt. Look at Rome. Look at Greece. All of these things started to spiral after we had one crazy leader that just led the whole thing off, and then a bunch of infighting happened, and then stretched itself too far militarily, then couldn't focus. America has 250 military bases across the world. China has 1. They're focused internally. They're not fighting with each other. They're disciplined. And that's why they're moving so quickly. We got a government shutdown for 22 days. We can't even keep the government open.
Nope. And when we look back at it, that linchpin of that war on terror and that 22-year war, the irony in that's going to be the bullet that kills America. But what do I know? Go study the market 12 hours a day. You'll see some correlations. You'll see some correlations. And that's the reason why the technocracies are able to run government now, because 30 years ago, they wouldn't have let Gates run Washington.
100%. So what's the solution? Take your future serious. Diversify your passport. Look at international opportunities. That's important. Learn about investing. Invest in your education. Take investing serious. That's important. Stay educated on world news. Stay up to date. Know your rights. But man, you gotta invest. You gotta really be like surgical with your investments. Know exactly what to do, where to do it.
While you're able to do it before the price of all equities that really matter get too high.
Before it's almost over. That's a fact. 100%. Take it serious, man. It's almost over.
Yeah.
With that being said, it's been real.
Good night. Not even dirty. Been tried to warn you. Yo, you go crazy. Leather jacket. I can't believe. Here we are. Told you. Here we are. When Larry Fink gets on CNBC, tell you they're going to tokenize all that, it's over with. Y'all can keep telling me they haven't taken over crypto. Okay. Gotcha. You better invest while you can, because when they get that shit to 500,000 a coin, what are you going to do? What do I know? Free and clear is the way to go. And two, start having these conversations with your children now. Not when they graduate high school, not when they get to college. Soon as they can talk, and y'all get them off Cocoa Melon or whatever the hell, Miss Rachel, right after that, Market Mondays, Red Panda, Blackout. They need to know, because they are equipping their kids with the knowledge of what's going on in the real world. And also, too, some parents, you may miss out on the opportunity not listen to your child. I know a lot of parents who missed out on the crypto wave, and your kids are trying to tell you about it, and you kept saying, "Oh, that's fake money." The real money we have is fake money. It's been off the gold standard since 70. That's fake. Listen, apply, learn every day, put the gossip away. That shit don't matter. Not matter at all. So,
all right, y'all. It's been real. DC, we will be in the building. EYL University meetup. EYL University, man, such a powerful community. Choice options class. We got Homebuyers Blueprint. We got infinity groups inside there. Valuable, extremely valuable. You need community more than ever. Red Panda Stock Club will be this weekend. The call. I believe Troy's gonna be on there as well.
Yep.
Man.
Dubai, we on the way.
Information and access. That's the two things. Information and access. Get your passports ready. Diversify your citizenship. You never know.
When you see Saudi running our playbook from the 1940s, 50s, and 60s against us, it's over.
100%.
It's over.
100%. 100%, man. Yeah. All right, y'all. It's been real, man. Appreciate somebody said classes are fire, community fire, stock club fire.
Thank you. I appreciate that for real. Hey, Nick, Godspeed, Rashad P.O. Box, XL me, please. Pause.
Salute to Godspeed.
You. Let me get two more of these too. All jokes aside, when you ain't heard from George Bush, Rumsfeld, that none of that old Republican, it's tough. The old guard Republicans won't even say nothing that's so bad. That's when you know, like the system, like when Auntie Shell said, "I'll never run for president." You know how nasty of a system it has to be for a person who was in the White House to never want to see that side of Washington ever again. It's over with.
It's over with. It's over with.
All right.
Keep a bag coming. Keep a bag coming. Just keep hustling, man. Keep hustling. We got about 5 years left before this thing really, gets super spooky. You got about 5 years left, man. It's 5 years. What's it? 2025 right now? 2030.
Man, you got 15.
2030.
I'll hold you. Because if JD Vance get in there right after, what y'all gonna do? The Democrats don't have nobody that's even gonna run and win. Then who JD Vance gonna have as VP? And God rest his soul, they was lining him up to be vice president before they took him out. Democrats, what y'all gonna do? Y'all gotta quit pandering. Y'all gotta do something. Y'all gotta fight back. So
fight back.
Yep.
All right, y'all. It's been real.
Love y'all. Peace.
Love.
See y'all.
Diddy ain't. I don't think I'm gonna get. We gonna talk about that Diddy pardon next week.
We talk about it right now. If you want to. You think you're gonna get it?
I don't think it's gonna happen. I think that they put it out purpose. Because why would they put it out publicly?
Who, Trump campaign?
George Santos. Yeah, that's what I heard. It came from Trump's team. They said it didn't. TMZ said it did. But it's like, I feel like if they was going to do it, it would have been like George Santos. They would have just did it. Woke up one day and like Diddy got pardoned. Like they said, who announces that he's going to get pardoned?
Can we talk? See, you can't talk about the business, but gotta pay the big, yo.
Oh, of course, at all times. You know that.
Gotta pay
And
for
once
it.
again, that goes back to keep a bag coming.
Keep a bag coming.
Keep a bag coming. You're
Mhm.
never above a bag.
Visual
Yeah.
capitalists, put that together for us.
If Trump
get out of jail free
has
card.
if Trump has proven anything, it's everything is for sale in the United States of America, and you're never above getting a bag. Like he had dudes paying $1 million just to go to his inauguration.
Mhm.
He's monetized everything. Everything is for
bro.
sale.
Everything. What do I know? We're gonna talk about Stephen A. next week and all that LeBron hate.
Oh yeah, next week.
Next week. Too much going on.
All right, y'all. It's been real.
Peace.
See y'all tomorrow.